The air crackled with anticipation in the psychology class. Professor Thompson, known for his unconventional teaching methods, smiled warmly. "Today," he announced, "we're playing a game." He picked up a piece of chalk and walked towards the blackboard. A game about priorities. A hush fell over the room. Professor Thompson pointed to a student in the front row. "Aliza, would you mind coming up and writing down the names of people you care about?" Aliza hesitantly approached the board, chalk clutched tightly in her hand. With a deep breath she began to write. Names filled the board. Family, friends, classmates, even co-workers. Each name represented a relationship, a connection in Aliza's life. Professor Thompson nodded approvingly. "Now," he said, his voice softer, "I want you to erase a name." Aliza froze. Erase a name? The thought sent a shiver down her spine. She looked at the names, each one a thread in the tapestry of her life. Her eyes welled up. How could she possibly choose? "It's just a game, Aliza," Professor Thompson said gently, sensing her distress. "But sometimes life forces us to make difficult choices." He looked at the class. "Think about it. Who are the most important people in your lives?" Aliza reluctantly lifted her hand and erased a name. A wave of guilt washed over her. It was just a name on a board, she told herself, but it felt so real, so final. Round after round, Aliza continued to erase names. Each erasure brought a fresh wave of anguish. Friends she cherished, colleagues she respected, even distant relatives, all vanished from the board. The remaining names stared back at her, her parents, her siblings, her closest friends. Each one held a special place in her heart. The weight of her decisions pressed down on her, threatening to suffocate her. How could she possibly choose between them? Professor Thompson watched her, his expression compassionate. He knew this game wasn't easy. It forced students to confront a difficult truth. That life is full of choices, and sometimes those choices come with a cost. Finally, only 2 names remained on the board, Aliza's parents. Tears streamed down her face as she looked at those 2 precious names. They were the ones who had always been there for her, the ones who loved her unconditionally. With trembling hands, Aliza erased one final name. The silence in the room was deafening. She turned to face the class, her eyes red and swollen. "My parents," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "I chose my parents." Professor Thompson nodded. "And why is that, Aliza?" She took a deep breath. "Because they are the ones who matter most," she said, her voice gaining strength. "They are my foundation, my everything." A murmur ran through the classroom. Professor Thompson smiled. "The point of this game wasn't to make you feel bad," he said gently. "It was to help you understand your priorities, to appreciate the people who matter most." He looked at their faces, each one etched with emotion. "Respect every relationship," he said, "but understand that some bonds are simply irreplaceable."